Year 9, and welcome to your video, which is going to just describe to you some ways that it's going to be really useful for you to revise for your mocks, which are coming up shortly. It might seem a little bit strange thinking about mocks and revision in GCSE at the moment, but obviously you're nearly a year into your course now, so it's really important that we start doing the things that are going to help you do the best that you can. If you have any questions after this video, you can email any of the three on the screen now. That's myself, Miss Crane, or Miss Burrows, and we can all help you with any questions that you have. So, before we get started, what does your course actually look like? What is included in your GCSE? And this shouldn't be new information, but I'll go through it anyway. You have a paper 1. That is anything really that is about the physical environment, so about nature and the environment. You've got UK landscapes, that's geology, rivers and coasts. And then you've got weather hazards, climate change, ecosystems, biodiversity and management. Now you've already completed UK landscapes, the top one. You've studied what rocks, what kind of rocks we have in the UK. You've studied rivers and you've studied coasts as well. You haven't studied weather hazards and climate change yet. And you also haven't studied ecosystems, biodiversity and management. But when you have, the whole unit is worth 94 marks. It counts as 37.5% of your whole GCSE, and you will have 1 hour 30 minutes in the final GCSE to complete that paper. Your paper 2 is anything about the human environment, so anything that involves people really, and you have changing cities, global development and resource management. Now you've already studied resource management. We did that primarily from home, and you're currently studying changing cities. All of you should have started changing cities by now, and you'll just be probably 1 or maybe 2 lessons into that. But by the time the mocks come around, you will have completed that unit, and so you'll just have global development to go. But this one is also 94 marks, 37.5% of your exam, and you'll have 1 hour 30 minutes to complete it. Now your paper 3, you've not started anything about that yet. That's called geographical investigation. That's all about doing some field work. So we're going to go out into a human environment, into a physical environment. You're going to complete some research. And then there's UK challenges, and we'll come on to this later in the unit, later in the GCSE, and tell you about these. Okay, so your mocks this year will include the first section of paper 1, UK challenges, because you've already studied that one. And there it is. All right, that will mean that you have a total of 30 marks in that part of the mock, and you're going to have 30 minutes to complete that paper. As you know, when you do your exam technique in lessons, you should generally give yourselves the same amount of minutes as marks, so 30 marks will give you about 30 minutes unless you are entitled to extra time. Your paper 2, you will be completing 2 sections, resource management, which you've already finished, and changing cities, which by the time the mocks come around, you will have finished. All right, so you're going to have 64 marks available to you in that paper, and you'll be given 1 hour to complete that. So 60 minutes. 4 of those marks are for spelling, punctuation, and grammar, and so you'll be given 1 hour to complete paper 2. So, how can you best revise for these mocks? I'm just going to go through some helpful information about how we think in geography you can best revise and remember information into your mocks and beyond. So, Seneca Learn. Seneca Learn is a really, really good resource that we'd like you to use. Now, most of you, or some of you, will already have a Seneca Learn account, and if you don't, you'll be getting one shortly. But essentially, it's an online learning tool that allows you to check your understanding, test yourself, and complete revision. And whilst doing all of that, keep it on track. So you can see what you've done in the past, and you can see what you need to do more of, where you've gone wrong, what you've done well in, etc. So it's a really, really good resource. Like I said, each one of you should already have a class, or you'll be given one very shortly. If you're not already a part of a Seneca Learn class, you'll be given a code that looks like this here, and with that code you can log into your class and you'll be able to continue the revision, start your revision. So I'm just going to really quickly show you what this looks like. So I have given myself a student account, so it's as if I'm a pupil in these classes, and you can see that I've joined Mrs. Rose 10A1 class, I've joined my own 9A2 class and my own 9C1 class. Now this is basically, when you log in, you'll see this, all the classes you're a part of. If you're not a part of a class, you can just click join class. And then this is where you put in the code. You can see I've already got one pre-populated. Pop in the code and then click join class, and you'll go straight into the class. So let's look at 9C1. Now I can see at the moment when I go into 9C1, I've got nothing assigned to me. My teacher in 9C1 hasn't given me anything yet, but I can go to pass and I can see assignments that I've been set in the past. So 2 months ago we were set a revision on Seneca to do these units here. And all let's assume this is a new assignment. You can click Start Learning, and then you'll just go through. You can read the information. It gives you information here. Click Next, go through them, and then once you've finished the section, once it kind of finishes typing there, you'll be given a question or questions which you will get scored on. And then when you finish, you'll be given a final score, and that'll give you a kind of an idea of how you're doing. Now, if you think it's going too slow, it's not challenging enough, you can change the speed down the bottom here, make it slower if you want, you can make it faster if you want, and then you just work through like this. And once you've read it all, click continue, and then you have questions to answer. Now your teacher can see this, and they can see everything you're doing on here. They can see how long you spend on it, they can see your mark, your percentage, what questions you got right and wrong. So it's really useful for us, and it's really useful for you as well. All right, so knowledge organizers as well, guys. Knowledge organizers are really, really useful. They're designed by us, and therefore they give you specific information that you need for your specific unit. Now, that makes it a fantastic resource. All right, these will all be shared with you. They have all been shared in the past, but they will all be shared with you if they haven't been already, so you can access them easily digitally, and we'll give you a hard copy as well. The best way to use these would be to create things like short quizzes or flashcards that give you must-know information. So you might be able to pick out 10 keywords that you really want to remember. Flashcards, keyword on one side, definition on the other, and then you can test yourself with that must-know information, the information that you think you really need to know. They're also a really good resource for case studies. Now, for your changing cities and your UK landscapes, you do need case studies to help you, and in resource management as well. So these knowledge organisers give you your specific case studies and the information that you'll need to remember for each. Other revision techniques that you can use are things like flashcards, look, cover, write, check. You can write yourself a quiz and test yourself later. You can even give these to a family member or friend, and they can go through and they can help you revise for these by asking you questions. All right, so knowledge organizer is really, really important. Okay, so BBC Bitesize, guys, is also a really good resource. All right, it's tailored to your exam board, so it's specific information for you. Okay, I've just crossed out these two on here. So the two of the human environment that you'll need to not do because you've not studied those yet. Maybe you're only doing the two on there. There's also obviously some units that you need to remember in the physical environment. You're not doing ecosystems, and you're also not doing weather hazards and climate change. So when you log on to there, just make sure that you only pick the ones that you're doing: changing UK landscapes, changing cities, and resource management. The best way to get here, guys, is just by Googling Edexcel GCSE Geography BBC Bitesize. All right, or you can come onto this video and copy that link over. If I just move my face, you'll be able to see that. So you can copy that link over if you want to, and then you'll be able to go straight into there. So don't complete the ones that are crossed out. Again, flashcards, creating your own knowledge organisers is a really good way of revising as well. And also BBC Bitesize has ways that you can test yourself. It gives you quizzes, so you can use that to give yourself a score and figure out how much you know as well. So BBC Bitesize is really useful. Open National Academy, now you'll recognise this from being at home, working from home. We use it quite a lot, and it's really, really useful, giving you an overview of different topics, particularly for rivers and coasts in your landscapes unit. Really useful, and you should recognise them because you did a lot of them over when you're working at home. So use the Oak National Academy. Again, I would suggest you either copy this link on the slide or Google Oak National Academy GCSE Geography, and it will take you to a page where you have the units that you'll be studying. It takes you to a page where there's loads of different topics. Remember, only revise the topics that you're doing. So changing UK landscapes, changing cities, and resource management. All right, so that's the Oak National Academy. You can go on there, read the lessons, watch the lessons, and complete the work that they ask you to complete. So finally, before we finish, guys, a few golden rules about revising. I would suggest you revise little and often. 20 minutes often would be a really useful way to revise. And once you've got a good bank of quizzes or flashcards, that's a really, really useful resource for you to have. Keep a positive mindset. That's also really important. Don't get bogged down. Try not to get negative. Keep a positive mindset. Always actively revise. Don't just read notes. Always do something after you've read them or during reading them. Might even be as simple as highlighting, but what I suggest is doing things like mind maps. Convert the information into something else. If you've got a big text, convert it into something else. Mind map, bullet points, whatever helps you learn. Flowcharts are really good as well. Venn diagrams, etc. So transform the information, convert it into something different is a really good way of getting your brain to rethink about the information and remember it more easily. Finally, lesson notes. Use them. They're a really good resource, so use them to your advantage. You created them, so it should be a really useful resource for you. Okay, guys, that's the end of the video. So if you have any questions about anything I've said or raised, please do get in touch with myself, Miss Crane, or Miss Burrows. For some reason, Miss Burrows' email is on there, but please do email her as well if you have any questions. And good luck. I hope your revision goes well.